Run your day with Runday.ai.
Ron, hello. Happy Wednesday. How are you today?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia, normally in Fort Lauderdale. Where are you from?
I am from Jupiter, Florida.
Oh, Jupiter. Yeah, I know the area. I was looking at some properties up in Stewart, actually.
Yep. Great place to be.
I'm trying to figure out if they're actually opening that bright line up there or not.
They're planning it, but there's been a lot of fights. So the commissions are going back and forth about whether they're going to let that happen or not.
Yeah, it's just an amazing experience. It really opened up that area if they can get that station built.
Yeah, I take it down from West Palm down to the Miami airport whenever I have a Heat game down at the arena.
Well, tell me more about 360 Auto AI and how you're serving your customers.
Well, we are a fully autonomous agentic AI system. Most of the AI, a lot of the AI out there is kind of machine learning programming. Our system is built from the scratch up. Built from scratch. We own the entire tech stack with the exception of voices. We import the voices. But everything else we own, every orchestration layer. So our focus is, I would say 95% toward the automotive industry. We service car dealerships primarily.
Let's talk a little bit more about the difference between machine learning and fully agentic. So machine learning's been, around for not a whole lot of time. Well, it's been around in theory for a long time.
A long time for basic machine learning. People just all of a sudden discovered AI a couple of years ago, but AI has been around for 20 plus years.
Why over a dozen AI companies? Oh, sorry.
For your listeners who don't know. Okay. So machine learning is, think of it as when you call your bank or your credit card company and you get greeted by a voice machine, right? And it says, "Hi, please enter the last four digits of your credit card number." And you put those in and they said, "Okay, now for your protection, give me the last four digits of your social security number." It does that. And then it comes back and says, "What would you like to do? Make a deposit, check your balance, etc." Right? It's limited. It will do exactly what it's programmed to do perfectly. And that's the great thing about the automation factor, that you can have some simple tasks highlighted and carried out automatically, right? But it's limited in where it can go from there. You program the questions that you want the AI to deal with, and then it executes, but then it's going to go back to a phone tree, right? With autonomous AI, so the next level, so you have four levels, I call it. So you've got your basic machine learning, ML. Then you have generative AI, which everybody knows as Claude and ChatGPT, right? All the things that create things for you or answer your questions right now, which is very prevalent in the search world. Then you move into agentic AI, which is putting a face in front of that machine learning. We call that part of it kind of like lipstick in a pig, right? So you can make it sound great. The companies can make it sound great, and then put it through machine learning. Then you have autonomous AI, in which case the agent does not necessarily have to be prompted by somebody to give you an answer. And if you call and ask a question, it might give you the same answer in 10 different ways, 10 different times that you call. It basically carries on a total conversation. And what we do is we tie it in the case of an automotive dealer, we tie the machine learning into their CRM, into their website as a knowledge base. We use an LLM to go with it. One of our developers, our top developer, he was the senior developer for the Llama model for Meta.
Wow.
And for 5 years, ran a team of 150 developers,
Incredible.
AI developers. So he came over to us for the opportunity to do this from the ground up, and we're basically working on a modified Llama model. But we do all the integrations with their dealer management system. They call it a DMS, and everything is pulled together. So whether it's an inbound call, a perfect example for our use is a customer calls and says, say it's Joe's Honda, calls up Joe's Honda and wants a service appointment. "Hey, I'd like to book a service appointment for my 2025 Honda Accord." And the agent will greet him and basically say, "Hey, Joe, what are you looking for? Let me see what time I can find you. It's better in the morning or the afternoon." He gets an appointment. The AI books the appointment for the customer right then and there. It goes into their like their service scheduler, like an X time service scheduler, finds the available slot based on what the needs are. So it knows there are codes for every single piece of service, right? You want an oil change, you want a brake job, you want a transmission. Everything takes an allotted amount of time. We recognize the amount of time that it takes. We find the open slot and the open tech, and we marry the two together and book the appointment, but it all happens in a matter of seconds. The person is booked. We get their name, their phone number, everything that we need for Vital to put in there, push it right back into the CRM. So the customer has everything they need to know to get booked. And we do this 24/7. So that's the biggest thing. This all was kind of born out of necessity. I've been in the automotive space, advertising automotive space for a long, long time. The average is 35% of all calls to a service department at a car dealership go unanswered.
35% go unanswered.
That's pretty
completely.
huge.
That's a lot.
Because they all close early. You know, the dealership might be open till 9, but service is closed at 6 or 7, right? And they're not open on Sundays usually. And Saturday,
and I imagine this is even more of a problem with the lack of mechanics available. Just over the past 5 years, I've just noticed the I like to collect things like watches, and I'd love to collect some newer classic cars, but the effort it takes to get the mechanic to do anything now just makes it not worth it for me anymore.
Yeah, it's very expensive, but it all depends. You know, there are a lot of people who will go to a car dealership because they want to have the service done by the manufacturer's company, right? And then you're more budget conscious. You might go to a Jiffy Lube and get your oil changed or change it yourself, right? So there's all kinds. But the fact is, the other biggest thing is in any industry, speed to lead. Whether it's home service businesses, HVAC companies, window and door companies, etc. People go down the phone list when they're starting to search. And they dial. And if you don't answer the phone, they're off to the next one. They'll go dial 3 or 4 people until somebody physically picks up the phone when they're ready to call. And that's a big problem because a lot of people don't realize that. So we also have a sales agent. So we put our agents in different places, in different roles. The service agent is an incoming agent, but the sales agent is incoming and outgoing. So the minute a lead comes into a website, we handle that lead within a minute with outreach based on SMS and email. It will send both to this customer. It will wait for them to reply. And if in 15 minutes it doesn't reply, they'll do an outbound call to that person. Hey, Mr. Jones, I saw you were on Auto Trader and you were looking for a used 2025 or 2024, whatever it is, whatever vehicle it is. What can I help you with? So it knows the customer and has one job. The sole job is to book an appointment, whether it's sales or service.
Now, you guys have done a great job and have an incredible system. I imagine part of why you did it because there's so many bad systems out there. Let's talk about why so many people have experienced, bad AI and kind of bad customer service automation systems. I have one theory, and one my theory is really that, it's hard to train a good AI if, because you have to train the system on something. So a lot of organizations have really bad customer service history, and then they try to train an AI on bad data. And so you hire a bunch of customer service reps that don't do a very good job, and then you're like, oh, this isn't working, let's automate it. And then you take that, I see that happening a lot. But what are some other reasons why, most of us have experienced bad customer service automation? Like, why is that even a thing? Wouldn't it be better to just have a voicemail than a bad system?
It's funny that you say that, but every system, AI has flaws. It will always have flaws. And if you even go to Claude or go to ChatGPT, down at the bottom, there's always a disclaimer, no matter what you do, that this may not be correct, right? Same thing happens with AI. You can expect maybe 5 to 10% of even autonomous AI to be incorrect at times. We're not quite satisfied
but at least you're acing it, right? So if I'm at school and I'm getting 35% of the questions wrong or not even answering them, then I fail, right? But if it's 5%, it's acceptable. I still get my A.
That's the hardest part. And for our clients, we have to educate them on the expectation level. Think of it like this. The day you put this agent into your system, it's an infant. Okay. In a few weeks, it's already past high school. And in a couple of months, it's a college grad, right? It grows and learns. The autonomous AI grows and learns every day. It learns from customer speech patterns. It learns the questions they ask, and then it goes back and relies on that history and learns and grows with the system. So we've seen incredible growth. I mean, we got certified by Mitsubishi, and it's amazing because you think about a call that comes in for any business, and how often do your salespeople follow up, no matter what business it is, right? An incoming call is in, it's a lead. Hey, I'm looking for X. I want to book an appointment, or maybe they don't, but they're just calling to get answers. Who follows up with them? Well, in the automotive space, there's a good steady flow. Dealers are great at advertising, right? Good steady flow of leads coming in, but after that first week, they go by the wayside, right? They get left alone, and then maybe they'll get picked up in an email somewhere down the road, somebody reaching out to them. Well, the AI doesn't ever let them go. So when Mitsubishi approached us and heard about our system, they said, all right, here's 450 corporate leads. Work these and try to get these people into a dealership, right? In weeks 7 through 10, we booked 57 appointments out of those 450. Not to count the ones that happened early.
Wow.
But it's...
So were there more that were late than early?
There were more. Well, no, there were still more early.
More early.
But the fact of the matter is, those 57 would have never been touched by any dealership. Yet they got 57 appointments from that. It's pretty amazing. We did a dealership in New Jersey a couple weeks ago that wanted to book their first service. So they get paid by the manufacturer. When you buy a car, you get a free service, right? But a lot of people don't take advantage of it. They don't, like you just mentioned. Some people just don't like to go to a dealership. So dealers entice them by giving them away a free oil change, right? But there's a deadline on that. You've got to do it within the first, after the first 6 months or whatever it is. So we put in 750 calls approximately for this dealership to people who had bought cars recently, had not been in for service. And he had over 70 appointments within 45 minutes. Pretty crazy. So you look at those things and you say, wow, if they had salespeople that could do this, or service techs that could do this, they wouldn't need AI. But the fact of the matter is, 24/7 coverage for less than the cost that you would pay for a receptionist, to have somebody qualifying and bringing people in the door to your business, the lifeblood of your business. I mean, it's a no-brainer for most people. The costs are very small, considerably, in relation to personnel. We don't sell this as a personnel replacement, though. We kind of firmly believe that there's, you've got a role for your people. It may be different. If I was dealing with
anyone just trying to replace people with AI just doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't work. You still
AI isn't cheap. The idea that AI is cheap is sort of a $1 trillion lie, right?
Right. It takes the hard work out. If you're a salesperson, right? People hate to dial phones, right? They don't like to pick up the phone and call. The AI does all the hard work, right? If you're relegated to closing a deal, you're good. Our AI, our agents look at the analysis of the conversation, so we can go into the back end of our platform. And we can look and see every bit of that conversation that the agent had with the customer. So we know when they are ready to buy just by looking at the intent, the keywords, and the sentiment. If the AI has a conversation that leads to that, it pushes that into a hot lead status, and we push that directly to a BDC answering system or to a sales desk, general manager, sales manager with their cell phone, and say, hey, this customer just called in. He has 2 trucks to trade in, but we don't know how to handle that. Please call him back immediately, right? It's something that the AI couldn't answer. But what the biggest thing is, the AI can answer everything about that customer's needs in an instant, right? So when a customer wants to know, all right, I'm calling for I want to compare the Nissan Rogue to the Nissan Murano. Which has better gas mileage? The answer is there. Okay. You don't have to wait for a salesperson to sit there. Well, let me take a look and let me get back with you on that, or give me a few minutes, and you're waiting minutes on hold, right? The agent answers quick. We can book credit. We can finance people immediately. We take all the captive lenders from a dealership that they deal with, all the banks and finance companies. We put all their parameters in of what they need for a customer to qualify. When a customer calls just by using their name and their address, within 10 seconds, we can do what's called a soft credit pull, so it never hurts the customer's credit. We analyze where they're at. It gets fed into the system based on the vehicle that they're searching for, and they get a perfect penny payment, literally within 10 seconds. Mr. Jones, if you want this 2026, Outlander, whatever it is, you can have it for $879 a month with zero down, or $679 a month with $2,500 down, right? Or whatever it is. It'll give them the options and recalculate based on their down payment afterwards. No credit pull. Pretty crazy stuff.
So the AI is actually able to put together a quote with a monthly payment at that level of detail.
All the way down to the taxes and tags and dealer fees and everything out the door price. We call it a perfect penny. You're down, you know exactly what you're paying before you ever walk in the door. So transparency is big. I mean, that's the best acceptance that we've found for AI for any place, right? Is from a customer. First it used to be, we were afraid to identify that the agent answering the phone was actually a real, an AI person, right? Virtual. So we kind of hid it at first. Now we a lot of dealers say, let's put it right up front, because people are more and more acceptance of AI because they don't get a runaround. They ask their questions. They know they get the answer right then and there. So it's immediate satisfaction for the customer. And if the customer doesn't want to talk to the AI, any keyword can trigger that, where we do it an automatic handoff. We call it human in the loop, and that's a standard acronym for something in this industry, in the AI industry. But the human in the loop is the one who takes over the call from the AI agent. So we do a very natural handoff. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that, but let me get you to somebody who can. I'm going to connect you to the sales department right now. Right?
I grew up in a world where I was always hitting zero to talk to a person, because those people generally, they were, in a call center in Orlando. They had 7 years of experience, and they were trained by somebody who had over 10 years of experience. Well, today the reality is in customer service is, Gen Z is switching jobs every 1.1 years. And so you're getting an inexperienced human who was trained by an experienced human. So the preference is moving toward AI more and more. And so, I love the fact that you guys can even do the quotes and everything down to the penny. If someone in the audience wants to get a demo of this, what's the best way to do that? Reach out to you, or just do request a demo on the website?
Either one, yeah. Just right on the demo, there's almost every page there's some kind of form of contact where you can contact us, and the biggest proof is in the pudding. When you hear this agent, people are blown away. I put it through the paces and do things that no one would ever ask, right? So I'll book a service appointment. I have a demo site. I'll book a service appointment, and I'll say, well, 8:00 tomorrow morning, that's pretty early. Is there any place nearby I can get breakfast? Do you have a shuttle that'll take me there? And it'll rattle off 2 or 3 different breakfast places nearby and say, oh, sure, you can go to the Big Boys or House of Pancakes or wherever it is. And yes, we have a courtesy shuttle, so it can take you there and pick you up when your car is finished.
Well, hopefully this helps make car ownership exciting again, because it's been a slug the past few years with the lack of mechanics and dealerships that don't pick up the phone. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Stay ahead of the curve. Hit that bell for notifications and join us next time.